This day I sent Father Joseph Gallagher to Carson City, Nevada.
So reads a single entry in the 1858 daily diary of Archbishop Joseph Alemany of San Francisco. This quote marks the birth of the St. Teresa of Avila Catholic Church in Nevada's capital, Carson City. The following year, in 1859, miners discovered massive gold deposits in what became Virginia City, up in the mountains just 15 miles away. This gold rush became known as the Big Bonanza, eventually giving up hundreds of millions of dollars worth of gold and silver ore over the next few decades. In today's money, that's about $10 billion. Beginning in 1860, mining companies built mills along the Carson River to process the ore. Entrepreneurs and businesses flocked to the area to serve the influx of fortune seekers and laborers, many opening stores, hotels, saloons, and other businesses along Carson Street. In the same year, Father Joseph Gallagher and local brewer Joseph Klein headed the efforts of the Catholic community to raise their first church building. At the time, the population of Carson City was only 714 people. Nevada became a state on October 31, 1864, and Carson City won the battle to become the capital city. The first Catholic Church, however, did not stand long enough to see Carson City become the capital of the new state because it blew down in a windstorm in 1862. The second church building was finished in 1865 under the direction of Father John Curley and served the new capital city for 5 years. By 1870, however, the population of Carson City more than tripled to over 3,000 inhabitants. Carson was abuzz in activity, with a new Capitol building under construction, the U.S. Mint taking advantage of the gold and silver ore flowing from the Big Bonanza, and the Virginia and Truckee Railroad steaming its way through the town. So Father Thomas Grace led the efforts to build a new Gothic-influenced church building to serve the growing city. For almost 80 years, the church built under the efforts of Father Thomas Grace faithfully served the people of Carson City, even when the population declined after the gold ran out. The wooden structure slowly deteriorated as the population of Carson City became half of what it was. And by the 1940s, the church was in need of serious repairs, leaning several inches out of plumb. As the funds to construct a new building were scarce, an exterior brick facade was simply added to stabilize the walls. By 1980, however, Carson City was booming. More room was needed. The front of the church was expanded northward, and the front door was relocated to the east side, as seen in this painting. By the beginning of the new millennia, though, with Carson City now the home of nearly 50,000 people, it was clear that a fourth church building was needed, and one that was much, much larger than the 1870 church. The parishioners of St. Teresa's joined with their long-serving pastor, Father Jerry Hanley, to raise funds to build a larger church a couple of miles to the north. The new church sits on an expansive site featuring numerous evergreen and deciduous trees, grassy areas, pleasant garden spaces, and a bell that greets the hours of the day. The front of the church greets parishioners like a mother with two outstretched arms, covered walkways reaching out to welcome the world. Just inside the front covered entrance, we see the stained glass image of the Carmelite saint after whom the church is named, St. Teresa of Avila. She is known for her reforms of the Carmelite order during the Counter-Reformation in the 1500s. The interior features large gathering spaces and meeting rooms for the growing Catholic community. In the main gathering space, we find statues of Jesus and St. Anthony of Padua and a cozy library. Just inside the nave sits the baptismal font, flanked on either side by wooden pews that slope gently down toward the sanctuary. Large windows bring the beauty of nature into the nave, while awe-inspiring wooden beams support the ceiling above. Around the nave, we find areas for quiet prayer and reflection, with an image of Our Lady of Guadalupe, Our Lady with the Infant Jesus, and the Holy Family. Vibrant stations of the cross adorn the walls of the nave, calling to mind Jesus' passion and sacrifice. In the center of the church is the sanctuary, dominated by a large crucifix hung between stained glass windows. The wooden crucifix reminds us of the Eucharistic sacrifice Jesus offered for us and the reason we come to Mass. On the other side of the sanctuary wall lies one of the most adorable chapels in the Diocese of Reno. This intimate space houses the stained glass windows from the previous church, crafted over a century ago. Here we find numerous beautiful images of saints, including St. Patrick holding a Bible and several snakes, St. Michael the Archangel, and Jesus. The chapel sanctuary shares the same wall as the larger sanctuary in the main church. This connection brings together the chapel's sacred space that preserves the memory of the 1870 church with the new sacred space of the second millennium. If we are fortunate, we may even find other stained glass windows tucked away quietly in nearby spaces. From its humble beginnings in a church that blew down in the famous Nevada winds to an inviting congregation for the thriving capital city, St. Teresa of Avila Catholic Church offers a unique blend of Nevada history, sacred art, and Catholic traditions that stands today as one of the capital city's enduring pillars of faith.